It was a really tough offseason for the public image of the NBA when you really start to think about it. We had a scandal at pretty much every level of the organization. We had an executive slash owner and Robert Sarver have a huge scandal, coach Ime Udoka, and for the player portion, Miles Bridges. Hornets forward, Miles Bridges now faces some pretty serious charges that could land him in jail after allegedly assaulting the mother of his two children right in front of them. And I'm a firm believer in innocent until proven guilty, but the photos are pretty shocking. So whether he actually ends up landing in jail or not, I still think it's safe to say the team is going to be without him this season. I think the Hornets are planning on eventually having him back, but for now, he isn't even listed as being on the team. And this is a huge loss for the Hornets. They're losing their leading scorer from last season, a guy who was really developing and showing flashes into entering the conversation for being a potential all-star. And he was just absolutely the perfect fit along their franchise player, LaMelo Ball. Other than that loss, it's pretty much the same team from last year, minus Montrezl Harrell. So given that they're missing their leading scorer and basically just running it back, I think it's safe to say that they're going to take a pretty big step back this year. Vegas seems to agree with me. They're at 36 and a half wins, and that's coming after a 43 win season. So I say take the under. I think this team is likely heading towards a pseudo rebuild, especially if things kind of fall off the rails early with this team. I think LaMelo is going to be excellent again this year, but outside of that, without Miles Bridges scoring, they're kind of reliant on consistent scoring production out of Terry Rozier and a healthy Gordon Hayward, neither of which of those things are guaranteed to say the least. So if they really stumble out of the gates, I would even expect to see Gordon Hayward moved on via trade, provided he's healthy. He only has 2 years left on his deal, and teams are always desperate for these big wing type players. I also think they could get something for Terry Rozier, and I think they'd be interested in moving off of him. But being a smaller score first guard with a pretty hefty contract, there may not be too many takers. I guess if I were them and it's looking like we're not going to be competing for playoffs or even a play in early on, I'd give the Lakers a call. You could do like Gordon Hayward, Terry Rozier for Russell Westbrook, plus whatever other piece the Lakers have to make the money work, and then get two first round picks out of that down the line. That I think the 27 and 28 are what the Lakers have available. And I think that's okay for both sides. For the Lakers, gives them an influx of like veteran help to kind of increase the talent level of the team, especially around the edges. And then for the Hornets, like you're only paying Russell Westbrook 1 year, and then those two Laker picks are going to be probably pretty high draft picks once LeBron is either retired or off the Lakers. And then kind of the same deal with Davis. I don't imagine he'll be retired by then, but probably won't be on the Lakers, or at least won't be like a pseudo top 10 player in the league. And while I'm pretty down on the Hornets for this season, I do really like the acquisition of Mark Williams out of Duke via the draft. He was a combine freak. He's 7'2", 242 pounds, has just a staggering standing reach of 9 feet 9 inches, which is actually larger than Rudy Gobert. It's insane to think about. And he's going to be just the perfect center to play alongside LaMelo Ball kind of heading into the future here. Williams is going to be able to protect the basket at an elite level once he develops, and that's going to make up for a lot of the deficiencies that we see from LaMelo Ball on the defensive end. And offensively, it's not as if Mark Williams is one of those slow, clunky big guys with two left feet. It's a pretty fluid athlete, and he proved at Duke. He has soft enough hands to catch passes in traffic or around the basket or just lobs over the top. And LaMelo, throughout his young career, hasn't really even played with what I would say is an average level center. It's been pretty rough to say the least to start his career. So I'm thinking this is going to be a match made in heaven for them. This is something to get excited about if you're a Hornets fan or if you're just watching this team on a nightly basis, watching that pairing kind of grow and develop. Otherwise, I think it's just going to be a really long year for them. I expect the Hornets to miss the play-in, but also be just a little bit too good to give themselves good odds at a really high draft pick come draft time.